Your move, your move.
What's up guys, it is Rogue2 here and welcome to another amazing video on the channel. So for today, hitting you up with one of the budget deck profiles or one of the budget decks of the format that I think not a lot of people or not enough people are giving the attention and the praise that it deserves. We are here with the pure Melodious deck profile and there will be a combo guide coming soon on the channel. Give me some time to learn the deck a little bit more, finalize those combos and bring it to you guys. But if you are new around here, or you enjoy my beautiful beard, or you enjoy playing nothing but rogue decks, make sure you do subscribe. We do videos twice a week, shorts every single day, and polls every single day. We also host a bunch of giveaways, so make sure you don't miss out and you do stick around. Anyway, enough of the blabbering. Let's get on to this beautiful Melodious deck profile. So starting off with the deck profile, let's start off with one of the best, if not the best, main deck Melodious monsters. We have triple Refrain the Melodious Songstress. Now, all of the Melodiouses are going to be light and they're going to be fairy. However, this one is level 4 and it is, as you can see, a pendulum, 1600 attack and 800 defense. Now, both of this card's effects are absolutely incredible, but the main effect that we are going to be focusing on is its monster effect. So when it is summoned to the field and not used as a spell. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Melodious monster from your deck to your hand. So it's essentially a reinforcement of the army for Melodious, which is actually amazing because they have a bunch of cards that want to be added to your hand and they have pretty good effects that couple really well with Refrain. Now, if a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned to your field while this card is face up in your extra deck, you can place this card in your Pendulum zone. It is a Pendulum 1. Now, the Pendulum Melodious monsters, which is only 2, do share this effect, so if they are in the extra deck, they can place themselves for free into the Pendulum scales and basically give you a free Pendulum summon as well. What do these cards do in the Pendulum scale? Well, Refrain is actually a Foolish Burial. You can target a Melodious fusion monster you control, send one Melodious monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to the level of that monster sent to the graveyard times 200. So again, a Foolish Burial, a Rotor, and it places itself from the extra deck into the Pendulum scale as a Pendulum scale 1. What more do I need to say about this card except that you play 3 and it is getting a lovely rarity bump in the Megatins. Coupling the Refrain, we have Couplet, the Melodious Songstress. Now again, light fairy, this time it is level 5 and it has a Pendulum scale 9, meaning you can pendulum summon from this, basically using both your pendulum scales, monsters between the levels of 2 and 8. Now, unlike Refrain, we're going to be focusing mainly on her pendulum effect, so when you place her as a spell. You cannot pendulum summon except light monsters. This effect cannot be negated. If you do not control any face-up monsters other than Melodious monsters, you can add one Melodious spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Now this is really powerful because there's a fusion spell that essentially allows you to fusion summon using monsters in the Pendulum scales. If you don't know what that card is, it is the brand new spell. Well, I say brand new support that released like a year or 2 ago, Melodious Concerto, and basically Couplet with Refrain is a 1-card full combo essentially. It's super nice. What does this card do when it's in the hand? If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, so if you add it with Refrain for example, you can reveal this card and special summon a level 4 lower Melodious monster from your hand or graveyard. If a Melodious fusion monster is special summoned to your field while this card is in the extra deck, you can again place it in the Pendulum zone. So similar to the Refrain, and you play 3 of each because they are absolutely fantastic cards to see. For a 2 of, we have double of Soprano, the Melodious Songstress. Now this card's a bit different because this card is actually a soft once per turn on one of its effects, and its other effect isn't a once per turn at all, which is really nice. So when this card is special summoned, you can target a Melodious monster in your graveyard except Soprano and add it to your hand. That is not a soft, not even a hard once per turn. It is basically for free. You can do it as many times as you can summon her. Once per turn, you can fusion summon a Melodious fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion material, including this card. Again, essentially not a once per turn because You always have to use her as a material, so she'll be back in the graveyard. Then you can resummon her, add a card from the grave back to the hand, and then again, fusion summon using monsters you control. So effectively 2 effects that are as many times as you please, which is incredible. For the one-offs, we play 1 Maestra, the Melodious, well, so Chopiner, the Melodious Maestra. Apologies. She is, I believe, a level 7. Once per turn, you can target a light fairy type monster in your grave and add it to your hand. You cannot activate non-light monster effects during the turn you activate this. That is a bit annoying, that if you activate any non-light effect that turn, including hand traps or whatever, you can't actually use the Chopiner effect. But keep in mind, the Chopiner effect is again a soft once per turn. So if you can summon her multiple times, you're going to be grabbing multiple cards from the graveyard back into your hand. And light fairy types doesn't include just Melodious, but it actually includes more generic stuff like Herald of the Orange Light. So do keep that in mind. This card is really good, and you do need it for some of the fusion materials as well. Well, some of the fusion monsters do need this card specifically as fusion material, which is why you need to play it as well. For the one-offs, we play 1 Elegy, the Melodious Diva. Special summon Melodious monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card was special summoned, all fairy type monsters you control gain 3. So this is like part of the theme that we have some of the Melodious monsters that you can special for free. Obviously, the deck special summons a lot, or from the pendulum scales, you can pendulum summon them and they give some sort of protection. So this basically means that they cannot be destroyed by card effects. And Area, another one-off, is when this special summon card is on the field, Melodious monsters you control cannot be targeted by card effects or be destroyed by battle. So with these two, you effectively have a really nice lock in terms of your opponent cannot target anything and they cannot destroy anything by battle or card effect, which is really nice. For the extenders, I play 1 Cannon, the Melodious Diva. If you control a Melodious monster, special summon this card from your hand, and then once per turn, you can target Melodious, change its battle position. That doesn't really come up, it's just the free special. Same for the Sonata. If you control a Melodious, special summon this card from your hand, and while it's special summoned, all fairies gain 500 attack and defense. So, again, just free extenders. I only play 1 of each. You only ever really need 1. You have multiple grab backs from the grave. These aren't once per turn as well, so absolutely insane. I really like the fact that there's so many non-once per turn cards. They are really old, Melodious. The new stuff is hard once per turn, but the old stuff you can abuse a lot. So this is it for the monsters. I'm super happy with these ratios. I think this is like almost perfect. Obviously, I'm going to keep testing the deck after this profile, keep adjusting the build, keep adjusting hand traps. But for now, this has been working super, super well for me. And I believe there have been a couple Melodious topping lists that play exactly this, or maybe a little switch on the extenders, but very, very similar. So we are off to a really good start here. For these spells, and Melodious have some really broken spells, we have First Movement Solo. Again, not a once per turn, but it is kind of, because you can only activate this card if you control no monsters. So for example, if you activate this card and they ash it, and you still control no monsters, you have a second copy, you can immediately use it again, which is really nice. If you control no monsters, special summon 1 level 4 lower Melodious monster from your hand or deck, and this does lock you into Melodious, which isn't free because you are restricted to Melodious locks. Melodious locks, you can still put up some really disgusting boards. Obviously, if you can avoid the lock, like with some other cards like Ostinato, you can improve the boards that you do create just that little bit more. But this card is incredible, and you 100% play 3 First Movement Solo. It's an E-Telly from the deck for free. This is basically just summon Refrain, grab Couplet, continue extending. It's so, so nice. I really like this card. And it comes in the beautiful QCR, and it's very cheap as well, I believe. So grab your copies. This deck is super cheap. We have Triple Ostinato. I kind of mentioned it before. Card is ridiculously broken. If you don't know what this card is, it is Branded Fusion before Branded Fusion. If you control no monsters, fusion summon a Melodious fusion monster from your extra deck using 2 monsters from your hand or deck as material, and it doesn't lock you into anything, which is super insane. During the end phase of this turn, destroy the monster fusion summoned by this effect. It will never be on the field pretty much 99% of the time, and then resummon the materials from the graveyard if they are all there. Incredible. Non once per turn. Activate Ostinato, Ash, sure. Activate second Ostinato, incredible. Doesn't lock you. This is another 1 card full combo, but since it doesn't lock you into Melodious, it's incredible. And it puts 2 bodies in the grave. You are absolutely cooking when you see this. for the last spell, I kind of mentioned it before, 1 Melodious Concerto. You don't really need more. Some people play 2, but it can put itself back into the deck anyway and then be searched later on. So what does it do? You fusion summon a fairy fusion from your extra deck using monsters from your hand, field, or pendulum zones, which is amazing. If a Melodious fusion monster is sent to the grave while this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can place this card on the bottom of the deck, draw 1 card. So it puts itself back from the graveyard into the deck, and then you draw a card, and you can obviously research it later with another couplet. So really like this card. Only really need 1, maybe bump it up to 2 if you want to see it that bit more, or if this effect gets ashed, you can't put itself back, couplet doesn't really search anything. 1's been working fine for me. I really like this card. That is it for the Melodious stuff. 20 cards in the main dedicated to pure Melodious, which is actually not too bad because it gives us a lot of non-engine. Speaking of the non-engine, I believe hand traps are king this format. So we have triple Ash, simply because it's really good against Fuwalos. It's like 3 call buys essentially for Fuwalos, Purulia, Meowls. It's decent into stuff like the Draco Tail. It is decent into stuff like Yummy, maybe decent, a bit of a stretch against Yummy. It's alright against stuff like Vanquish Soul Canine. It has its uses, and it's just good enough in my opinion to still be played, specifically because of the Mulcharmy interaction. Triple Ghost Spell. This is a card I think that's going to creep up on a lot of people this format. Ghost Spell is actually really nice in the Yummy matchup, really nice in the Draco Tail matchup because you can bell the traps, and it's serviceable into the K9 Vanquish Soul matchup as well because you can hit the K9 cards, stuff like Azuna. Well, not like Azuna, stuff like the Azuna Send. I forgot his name now. When he tries to reborn, you can bell it and then they won't get a rank or an Xyz monster into the field, and there's other things that you can bell as well, which is decent. So I really like Bell. I think it's super nice. I'm playing 3 of it simply because I think it's just really important to be hitting the cards I mentioned. Yummy, if you can bell the Yummies, you're in a good spot. If you can bell the Draco Tail traps, again, you're in a great spot as well, because not only does it deny them interruption, it denies them the draw as well. So that's super cool. Triple Herald of Orange Light. Kind of mentioned it before. We are a fairy deck, and this is a hand trap specifically for fairies. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, send this card and 1 other fairy from your hand to the grave, negate the activation, and if you do destroy it, it is non-once per turn. And as you know, Melodious can put a lot of stuff back into your hand via non-once per turn graveyard to hand shenanigans. So Herald of Orange Light is really, really free. And this is really good because it actually gives you some sort of fight back against the Draco Tail monster that you can basically pitch on a quick effect to fusion. If they do that, you can Herald of Orange Light that, and they've just basically discarded a card from their hand. You've managed to negate it, put a fairy in the grave, and now you can play. Because Draco Tail is looking like a really solid deck. One of the top 3 decks this format. If you don't know, it's K9, Vanquish Soul, Draco Tail, and Yummy. And Herald of Orange Light is good into all of those. It's really, really solid. I really like her. Obviously, you have to pitch. You can add the cards back anyway. Sometimes you even want a Melodious in the grave just so you can get that couplet effect when you do add it off the refrain for the extra body back. So really love Herald. You play 3. You play 3 Fuwa. I just only have 1 at the moment because I'm poor. Also because I'm saving up for QCRs because I believe in max rarity. I'm also saving up in QCRs of this. I have QCRs of everything else. I literally have the deck in max rarity and I'm not playing it max rarity just because I can't match everything. But this should be triple Fuwalos. I only have 1 at the moment. Hopefully I'll be picking up the QCRs. Rogue Tier needs to get on it. Make sure that if you do want to donate that you don't and save your money because these videos are free. But hopefully I can get to the QCR Fuwalosses soon. But there are 3 of them here. And Fuwalos is an amazing card. It's like Maxi in a way. It's just it's like the best hand trap this format in my opinion, just because it encourages your opponent to not play. And if they do play, well, you get a bunch of draws, and Melodious really do appreciate that as well. Triple Infinite Impermanence, so it's 15 hand traps total, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And I'm playing Imperm for the non-once per turn effect negation. It is good if you draw it going second, because you can just immediately trade for like into a Yummy board with Imperm, which is what I like about it. And it's decent into the other matchups as well. I mean, Vanquish Soul Canine, it's not that good because the Canine stuff will activate while you have stuff on the field most of the time. But, you know, it's serviceable, it's good into Yummy, and it's a non-once per turn effect negation, so why not? That is it for the hand traps. If you don't want to play Imperm, you can play stuff like Dominus, Purge. I do have Purges, I do have them in QCRs, but I feel like it conflicts a little bit with the Ashes and with some of my extra deck stuff. so I'm not playing it, but this is something that I am considering just putting into the Purge, for Purge, and maybe I don't look back after I do that. But for now it is imperm, but do keep that in mind. And for the power spells, we have triple of the Forbidden Droplet. This is more for like Yummy, because you can just chain this to the Yummy effects to Synchro, specifically on the Link, and you can then switch off. And obviously you're Melodious, so you're going to be pumping a bunch of cards back into your hand, so you don't really mind getting rid of stuff. You'll obviously have your Pendulum Scales that you can get back for free, which can also go. So Droplet is like a free card in a sense. If you don't have Droplet, Chalice, guys. Forbidden Chalice is something that could also be pretty good this format. It's like Imperm, except you can use it immediately during your turn, regardless if they have monsters. And if you don't use it, you can always set it. So I might be picking up some ulti Chalices, just because I think if there's a format to play Forbidden Chalice, it's this one. But I think Droplet, again, it's arguably just as good as Chalice, if not better. But if you want to be spicy, if you don't want to be pitching cards, Droplet is a good shout, guys. Not Droplet, Chalice is a good shout, but I'm playing the Droplet for now. We have the 1 call by and the 1 triple attack. Punish hand traps, again, another way to stop Fool Loss. And actually, another way to stop, I believe, the Draco Tail Fusion quick effect monster. I believe it does discard from hand as cost, and you call by it, problem solved. And again, triple attack is just a way to punish your opponent for hand trapping you, and it's good going second if you can like sort of pressure the board, or simply just grab an extra card into your hand, just draw 2, and it replaces itself and gives you an extra card as a +1. So that is the main deck, 40 cards. Let's now go on quickly into the extra deck. Moving on into the extra deck, Link 5, Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. You may be thinking, why am I playing this? Lunar Lights is a thing. Lunar Lights have a insane towers monster. Yes, I know they can most of the time put up 2, but if you can hand trap them enough to the point where they can only establish 1, Underworld Goddess is actually really good at that. You may be thinking, well, they can just blow up your board on the way. You can pivot your plays, get a area onto the board, build up your board, and your opponent cannot actually destroy any of your Melodious monsters with card effects, meaning you can easily just climb into the Goddess and then, via game mechanic, remove the towers to summon the Goddess, which is why I play it. I think it's necessary. I think you need to have an out to Lunar Light. Respect that deck. People didn't respect it at Worlds and it got 2nd place, so respect it. It's also a decent card, not only for its game mechanic way of summoning, because it takes one of your opponent's monsters as material to link summon. If this card is link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. The link summon card is unaffected by opponent's activated effects unless they target, which is interesting. And if your opponent activates a card or effect that first summons a monster from the graveyard, you can, on a quick effect, negate the activation. So it is a good card. It's a light fiend, but we aren't pivoting into Fiendsmith with this build. But again, you need to be respecting Lunar Lights, and if you can put up monsters while being able to be destroyed by card effects, why wouldn't you play Goddess just to respect Lunar Light? We have the SP Little Knight. Again, this deck can spam so many monsters onto the board, so many extra deck plays. SP Little Knight is kind of a no-brainer, the best thing to in the game, in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just 2 effect monsters on link summon if it's used using an extra deck monster as material. Target 1 card in the field or in either graveyard, banish it. Can't attack directly until you do that, so make sure you remember that, because a lot of people go SP, clear the board, push for game, and they actually can't, and then that costs them a bit. And also, when your opponent activates a card or effect, on a quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including a monster you control. Banish both until the end phase. It is fantastic. Also really nice in resetting your Melodious fusions. Some of them can only use their effect once while face-up on the field. SP can put them in the banish zone, return them, and it resets them. Hint, hint, there's a Melodious monster that does exactly that in the extra deck, but SP is also a nice option to have. We play the 1 Cross Sheep. People don't play Cross Sheep at the moment in Melodious, from what I've seen. I like the Cross Sheep. It gives you really good lines, to be honest with you, because you can fusion summon under the Cross Sheep, get a Reborn, get something like a Sonata, get an add back, and continue pushing. I really like Cross Sheep, and obviously you can just go into SP as well, which is really nice. Same reason for Liner, 1 Liner, if you can steal something, go into SP or Link Climb, it's really nice. For the Melodious stuff, 1 Bloom Harmonist, the Melodious Composer. This card is so good at just pushing through stuff. If you get hand trapped to death, but you're left with 2 fairy monsters on the field, you can always go into Bloom Harmonist, and at the cost of a discard, special 2 Melodious monsters different levels from your deck. Yes, it locks you into Melodious, but this just basically is a massive FU to hand traps. They hand trap you to oblivion, As long as you have 2 fairies and a discard, you keep playing the game. It is insane. I really love this card. And it has a little bonus effect. If Melodious Monsters card points to attacks, your opponents cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So a little bonus effect there. For the Melodious Fusions, which is their bread and butter, double backer, the Melodious Maestro. People play 3. I see the argument. I'm alright with 2 because you can add stuff back from your graveyard to your hand, but since it's an extra deck monster, it just goes straight to the extra deck. It takes 2 Melodious monsters. While you control this fusion summon card, the activated effects of your Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated. It is worded very badly here, because I believe it still means that this card can actually be ashed. So keep that in mind. It does protect to a certain extent, but this card itself can be ashed, even though it says that activated effects of your Melodious fusion monsters cannot be negated. It's just worded in a very weird way. If you do know exactly why it's worded like this, or can explain it better than I did, please do leave it in the comments down below. What does this card do? On special summon, so not even on fusion, if you have a way to reborn it, you're going to get this effect. Special summon a Melodious monster from your deck. Incredible. The card could have stopped there and been insane, but it takes it a level up. If this card is sent to the graveyard, target a Melodious monster in your grave and special summon it in defense. This is really good because it's a level 7, meaning that with another level 7, we can actually go into rank 7 plays and actually trigger the backer, because it's just sent to grave. It's not from field, it's not from the extra monster zone, it's just sent to grave, meaning via detach, it works as well. Amazing card, cannot praise it enough. We play 2 copies. Just because 1, obviously not, it's very risky playing 1 copy. I know you can put it back. I prefer having 2. Some people want to play it safe and play 3, and I get that. I just value having the extra flexibility in the extra deck. You play 2 Sherberta, the Melodious Maestra. Takes 2 Melodious monsters, so the same as backer. During either player's turn, tug up to 3 cards in any grave and banish them, and increases cards by 200 attack for each one. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. That doesn't really come up because you can make this alongside a certain fusion monster, banish it, and return it during the end phase. So this is really strong into Yami. You can obviously establish 2 because they're not once per turn. Banish 6 cards every single turn. Yami cannot keep up with that. I know Yami's a great deck, but they need to out the Maestras first. Even banishing 3 every single turn, they can't keep up with that. And I know it says only once while face up on the field, but trust me guys, you can abuse this because you can easily remove it and bring it back. Stuff like Flowering Etoile allow that to happen. So this actually takes Melodious Maestra, so you need that in particular, and 2 Melodious monsters. And what does it do? On a quick effect, banish until the end phase any number of Melodious monsters you control. Then you can. So even if your opponent doesn't have anything to return, you can just banish them until the end phase to reset the effects. Then you can return up to that many face-up cards your opponent controls to the hand. So it can be a compulsory evacuation device for a ton of cards. And it doesn't target either. And it resets your Melodious fusion effects, like Sherberta's, for example. Insane. If this face-up fusion summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, special summon a Melodious from your deck or extra deck. Such an incredible card. I only play 1. I see some builds play 2. I get that, I really do. But I want the extra deck space, and I can always put it back if I need. For the other Melodious fusion, I play 1 Bloom Diva, the Melodious Choir. It takes Melodious Maestra and 1 Melodious monster, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. If this card battles a special summon monster, after damage count, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between the original attack of your opponent's monster and this card, and if you do, destroy the opponent's monster. It's just an easy way to make something that's very sticky, and you can basically just destroy something without targeting and inflict battle damage, or inflict, I believe it's just effect damage to them, which is nice. I also actually play 1 Bloom Prima, the Melodious Choir. It takes 1 Melodious Maestra and 1 or more Melodious monsters. It gains 300 attack for each fusion material used, so at a minimum it comes out with 2/5. And the reason I make this is because it can attack twice during the battle phase, so sometimes you make this just to clear names off the board. It's really nice. And if this fusion card is sent to the grave, if you link it, if you do anything with it, target a Melodious monster in your grave and add it to your hand. So again, gives you a bit more recursion. Sometimes make it, get rid of it, and then get something back to your hand that you really need. So that is why I really like Bloom Prima. And for the last 2 cards, rounding it up to 15, we have Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon with Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Maybe you're thinking, how on earth do you make Vortex Dragon? You don't make it normally. You make the Absolute with 2 level 7 monsters. And then you basically you don't really care about effects, you just link it away. And then when it touches the grave, so if this Xyz summon card is sent to the grave, so summoning Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck, you summon Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. When this card is special summoned, you can target a face-up attack position monster opponent controls, return it to the hand, so you get a bounce. And then during either player's turn, when a spell, trap, or another monster effect is activated, shuffle a face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck into the deck, negate the activation, and destroy that card. Free Omni Negate just by making a rank 7. So I really, really like that. And that is the end of this beautiful Melodious deck profile. There will be a combo guide 100% coming up on the channel in the next couple of weeks. I hope you guys do enjoy this deck profile. The combo guide is really going to showcase what this deck can do. This deck is super explosive, and a lot of people don't actually respect the deck. They don't even know what the deck can do. So make sure that you pick this up. It's a super budget deck, as I probably have titled it. I think it's the budget deck of the format at the moment. Everything is so cheap, and everything is being reprinted again anyway in the Megatin. So if anything does creep up in price, it's going to be reprinted again. So stuff like Refrain is getting an ultra print, stuff like Couplet is getting an ultra print. I believe some of the other Melodious cards are getting reprinted as well. Everything is so cheap, guys. It is a fantastic deck to pick up and learn. Teaches you about links, fusions, Xyz, pendulum monsters, special summonings, once per turns, non-once per turns, hard once per turns. It is such a amazing deck, guys, and it is all fairy, and you have Herald of Orange Light, which is just such a sick card. I absolutely love that card. But anyway, I have I have praised this deck long enough. I thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay rogue.
It's time! Let's go!